Om. 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 So chapter 13 is Kshetrajyan Vibhaga Yoga. That is, until now, we covered 12 chapters. Bhagavad Gita has 3 sections, and in Sanskrit it is called Shatkam. So first, which is Shat means 6. Shatkam means a combination of 6. So first 6 chapters, second 6 chapters, and third 6 chapters. So first 6 chapters, which is Shatkam 1, focuses on individual, a jiva, and karma yoga, and self-effort. That is jiva vichara, which is self-inquiry. 7 to 12 is Atman or Brahman. Atman at the individual level, Vyashti, and Brahman at the Samashti, which is cosmic level. And Bhakti Yoga, how you spread, you are devoted to that Supreme. Then at the same time, divine grace. In chapter first 1 to 6, self-effort. Here it is divine grace. That is Ishvara Vichara, which is inquiry about who is God. 13 to 18 is Jiva Brahma Aikyam. That is Atman and Brahman are both one and the same. This is Jnana Yoga. And third one is, we got self-effort, we got divine grace. Third one is the values that every human should possess to understand this, to experience this. So this chapter focuses on 6 words, which is 3 pairs of words. In many texts, this verse number 1 is not mentioned. It starts with verse 2. That is, generally, every Bhagavad Gita should have 700 verses. Some books have 701. So that is a starting, because Arjuna is asking these words, giving these words and asking Krishna the question. So he's asking, what does it mean, Prakriti and Purusha, Kshetram and Kshetrajyan, Jnanam and Jneyam? So 3 pairs, Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetrajyan, Jnanam, Jneyam. So Purusha, Kshetrajyan, Jneyam, those 3 are same. We will see that in the slide. They are same, more or less same. And Prakriti and Kshetram, they're also, those 2 are same, but Jnanam is very different. So we are going to check it out. Kshetram is, here he is referring to field, body, that which is subject to destruction. In Sanskrit, deham means body. Deham is subject to dahanam, meaning burning. It is going to destroy. That which is subject to destruction. That which is maintained, protected from destruction, is also body. This body is referred as Kshetram or field, you can call it. Third one is this Kshetram, that is the subject to destruction and is always protected. Why? Because only with this body, human body, a human or individual jiva can attain self-realization. Kshetram is also a cultivating land, agricultural land, where everything's or there is a growth. That is what's in Sanskrit. Kshetram means agricultural land where something can grow. The land has both good and bad, like plants and weeds. Similarly, this body creates good and bad experiences. This body is the field for the jiva, for individual. When a seed is sown, it sprouts, grows into a bigger plant. Finally, it produces multiple seeds that protects itself for generations. See, one apple, just take an apple. It has got 6 to 8 seeds. And each seed generates thousands of seeds, right? And the cycle continues. Similarly, every individual gains merits and demerits by our own actions in this body, which then bears fruits of those actions in future multiple births. So that is samsaram, that is whirlpool of birth and death. This body destroys, this body needs to be protected, it recreates all this for several generations. Hence, this body is known as Kshetram, which is a field of experiences. Verse 1, he says Kshetrajyan. Kshetrajyan is the knower of the field. I see this body, I am the seer, body is seen. This body is Jadam. Jadam means inert and cannot function without my presence in this body. I am knowledge, I am sentient, I am Chit, I am Chaitanya. The body gets sentiency from me because I am the seer, because of the seer. Kshetrajyan has no modifications, no changes, no body and no changes. Kshetram, that has 6 modifications. You can also see that you are an infant, you are a toddler, and then you are an adult, teenager, adult, senior. These changes are seen by the unchangeable object there. Say in our session right now, if somebody is coming late or somebody is leaving early, that can be seen only by the person who is there from start to finish, right? So both can be seen only by the one who was there from start to finish. Similarly, these changes in the body that is happening is seen by the unchanging concept or a presence that is called Dehi. Dehi is one who is in this body. Atma, ever present, immovable substrata. That Atma does not change at all. Like we go in a train or a bus, the movement of the vehicle is known only because of the immovable stationary objects that are a post or a land or something like that, a building. They are immovable. So also this immovable, because this the entire body, mind, everything operates because of that immovable. That is verse 1. Verse 2. Krishna is saying, I'm now sharing a very important knowledge. This verse number 2 is very important. Kshetrajyan chapimam vriddhi sarvasetreshu bharata. Each body or each being has Atma and Anatma. Know that you are that Atma. Not just only you, but sarva chetresu. That means in all bodies. Krishna is taking us to the ultimate knowledge, Jiva Brahma Aikyam. I and that are one. I am that, I am that, right? That Jesus also mentioned that. So I am in all kshetra. That means all location, all fields, all body. This body is not you. It is known to you. This body is subject to change. There is a knower of this body. Know that you are that knower. That is me. So Kshetram is seen, is a field, multitude of differences, many beings. Kshetrajyan is a seer and Ekam, only one. Now the student is confused. Till now, chapter 1 to chapter 12, I was told to worship the divine. I will have his grace. Now I am told I am that. Krishna says, first separate you from what you think you are. Reject the body. See the seer and the seen. Assert the seer that as me. The first step is to isolate the seer from the seen. That isolation is referred in Sanskrit as vibhagam. Kshetram, Kshetrajya, vibhagam. So similarly, I am not the mind because as I can see the thoughts. Therefore, the first step is to isolate the field from the knower of the field. Field includes body, senses, mind, intellect, everything. I am the seer, unmodified, ever-present knowledge. Sentiency is I know I exist. That is undisputable fact. No, none of the things around us knows that they exist. A fan, a computer, a pen, a book. But I know I exist. This is the entry into the inquiry, who am I? I am not who I think I am. Not all humans are aware of who they are. I am in all, says Krishna. It's difficult to conceptualize this point. This alone is knowledge. Everything else is information for the intellect. We get so much of information from the space, underwater, anywhere, all the animals. So many things we get on a daily basis. That's all information for the intellect. Self-knowledge is a subjective path. It is self-inquiry, self-paced DIY program. A path less traveled and a path less traveled. This is the knowledge many realized sages have sung in several ways, in several songs, through several texts. That is a clear communication for intellectuals and through music to draw the humanity. All songs in different forms everywhere, this is what is mentioned. In India, all types of music in all languages convey this knowledge to general public. Bhagavad Gita is the gist of Vedas, part of Mahabharata. So this is also referred to as fifth Veda, Panchamo Vedaha, fifth Veda. And everything mentioned here are from Vedas. Verse 5 and 6, he says the entire universe is Kshetram. He's going at the cosmic level now. The field, that which has manifested, meaning all that we hear, taste, smell, touch, see, available, everything, experience. They're available to five senses, experience everything. This is all Kshetram. That which is not available to five senses, in the seed form, illusion, Maya is unmanifested. This is the memory, the impressions in the mind. Chitta, we call it, not materialized, all emotions. When I'm angry, it is not expressed. Unless it is expressed, we don't know, right? Then words come out. Then our body language comes out. That is, those are expressions. Otherwise, when you are angry or when you have any emotion, sad, sorrowness, this is not. They are all unmanifested. We have read this in chapter 7.4 and 7.5, and also Atma Bodha, Sukshma Sharira. It's all inside the mind. So the entire universe has 24 parts, 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth, 5 organs of perceptions, 5 organs of action. We have studied this. Then mind, intellect, memory, and ego. Mind is the flow of thoughts. Intellect is the decision-making faculty. Memory is the chittam. That is, we know the database. Like, when we were young, when I was 10 years old, I went to my aunt's house. That is memory. Then ego is I. So, plus the last 5 are the desire, likes and dislikes, pleasure, pain, and the will to do it, anything. The will, when I say will, the strong mental strength, will. I remember Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor, he said, where there is a why to live can almost bear any how in man's search for meaning. Krishna refers to all these 24 as field, nature, Prakriti, inert, insentient, everything, all these things. So none of them can know that they know that I exist. So verse 7 to 12 is very important in this chapter. That is, Krishna mentions 20 values. And with these values, only one can attain realization. Without this, it is not possible. First one is amanitvam, the absence of pride, superiority complex. That is humility. I am great, you are not. Egoistic arrogance needs constant approval and appreciation from others. That as we succeed in life with lots of achievements, accomplishments, with power, wealth, name, fame, without any efforts, the weeds also creep up. That is the pride and arrogance. This can even happen to those who have studied scriptures for years. I know it all. I am better than you. Climbing high is a lot of hard work, but sliding is fast and easy. One has to be constantly aware of that self-reflection. When left by itself, the mind will go in all directions. It needs to be observed, monitored, redirected. Just like an apple, you leave it on the table for 10 days, it will automatically rot. Same thing with the mind. It will go everywhere, do anything, whatever it wants, unless you pull it back. So, number one is pride that can pull one down like gravity. There's always one above you, one below you. Whenever there's one above you, that should inspire us to achieve more, accomplish more. When somebody is below us, it is important for us to recognize to help them, those who need. So why shouldn't I feel proud? I worked hard, I accomplished. These are my efforts. Sure, but that escalates your attachment with the body, which is not helpful for self-knowledge or in transactional life. One should not consider oneself superior to anyone due to the possession of grand home, bank balance, academic qualifications, achievements, color of the skin, or caste. Therefore, amanitvam is humility, that is the very first value. Number two is adambitvam. I'll send this in words later. These are Sanskrit terminologies. Absence of hypocrisy. That is no show off. First, one thinks to be superior to others. Second is showing off. Pride is opposite of humility. Here it is I did that. The publicity, bragging about it or boasting. So whatever you do, there's a saying, whatever the right hand does, the left hand should not know. Nobody needs to know. You do it because you want to do it. That's all. So that is second one. Third one is ahimsa, non-violence. This is another important value. This has nothing to do with non-vegetarian. Nowhere in the scriptures anything has mentioned about non-vegetarian eating. This is mainly not hurting others in thought, word, and deed. As children, like 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, we try to tease each other, hit somebody, push somebody, just to make sure you can see the kids walking on the streets. They'll push each other, one will fall, and then they will joke around, those things. I have done it, my brother has done it to me. So this is all normal when they're young. But humans start hurting others as we grow older with sarcastic comments, satire comments, slamming, snapping words. These are often directed towards family members and less fortunates, our drivers, our domestic help, especially in India. Here we don't have that. Here the laws are different. So open and direct communication is important. That is vital and that is the best. We don't always have to give back or be defensive, have vengeance or tit for tat. These thoughts come only when one is physically tired or mentally exhausted. One needs to have more strength to forgive others. Ego often prevents that. It takes a lot of guts to say, I'm sorry, I made this. Self-reflect, watch out how I behave, how I interact with people. That is important. Number 4 is Shanti, absence of disturbance in the mind. This quality is for humans, not for animals. Why? Because humans live in the past or future. Animals and children live in the present. You can see in playgrounds, 2 kids will be fighting with something. I want this, I want that. And in another 2 minutes, they both will be playing together. But we hold on to it. Right? When we forgive and forget, the effect is mental peace. When the mind is calm, composed, and at peace, one can understand and grasp self-knowledge. Or else the mind is drawn to the external situations, conversations, and the content will not go in. There will be mere sounds. So just before the class session, if you had an argument with a family member and then you come, you are not able to concentrate because those thoughts will come at that time. Any disagreements, So that you have to try to keep our mind calm. Then number 5 is arjavam, straightforwardness, honest. Our thought, word, and deed should always be in alignment. What you think, you say, and what you say, you do. You don't need to say everything that you think, but whatever you say must be thought of. That is, think before you speak, walk the talk. To reach the highest truth, the truth must be followed and practiced in transactional reality. Number 6, Acharya Upasanam, that is service to Guru and humility towards Guru. Guru is the spiritual teacher and guide. This is a special quality in Sanatana Dharma, mainly in Indian culture. Parents are our first teachers. Teachers have special respect. They produce, academic teachers produce doctors, engineers, and scientists. All the more emphasis on spiritual teachers. Of course, nowadays there are some fakes too, but we have to be watchful. When a student or a seeker serves a guru, all the great habits of guru are transformed to the seeker. Gurus act as role models. Parents are the first teachers, role models. Children do what they do, not what they say. They will never listen to you. But we all have to be the role models. So direct reports at work. As you go higher, all the behaviors are keenly observed and emulated. You are a mentor and not a coach. Coach guides for 6, 8 weeks. A mentor is lifelong. That is number 6. Number 7 is Saucham, cleanliness. Not only personal and environmental cleanliness, but thoughts, memories, speech needs to be clean. Do not carry any baggage. Travel light. My mom used to tell me, if you have to go climb Mount Everest, don't carry baggage. Because when I was in school, I would complain that this girl said that girl said this, all these things, Then she would say, no, don't carry baggage. And my dad used to say, never go to bed with a negative feeling, with crying when I was little. And never go to school also with crying. So always, this reminds me suddenly of one of my friend, husband and wife, they had an argument. Severe argument, voice raising, and then he stopped and he went to shower. In the shower, he had the hot water, he had an electric shock, and he passed out in the bathtub and died. Then the wife was crying. Oh, I should have been a little more careful. That was the last thing that I did. I hurt him. So we want to be very careful when we interact with others. Always use positive thoughts. Never use any negative thoughts, negative words. Everything comes from thoughts, words, and deeds. So we want to be very careful. That is, cleanliness is in that mindset. It is not just cleaning the house or cleaning the car. We do that on a regular basis, spring cleaning. We do that, we shower, we dress up, everything. But do we ever stop to clean our mind, observe our mind? That's what this is important. Number 8 is thiram, steadiness in one's own path. Every time we get distracted and deviated from our path, it takes longer to reach our destination. Any distraction, anything, any goal that we want to achieve. Be firm, consistent, determined, and focused. Number 9, Atma Vinigraha, self-control, self-discipline. Here, Atma refers to body, mind, and intellect here in this particular verse. So, have a firm conviction and follow the path. The beauty is when we pick one value to follow, all other values come with it. Same with the bad habits. Our intellect needs to be strong to avoid all distractions. It is like a radio to tune in with the same wavelength, to listen to the music without noises. So, or closer to the routing when we are using our cell phone router. Self-control does not mean suppress the emotions, but sublimate in a gentle fashion, meaning allow them to wither like a ripened fruit. Number 8 is vairagya, absence of attachment of the senses. Absence of attachment is to be understood as without craving, without being dependency. I cannot live without this person. I cannot live without this. That is craving. You have to say, okay, this isn't part of life. So that, and I'm not like, even we have talked about diabetic patients. Diabetic, I cannot eat sugar. Let me be careful and cautious. So five senses experience pleasures indulging with objects. So when done more and more causes addiction. It may be a YouTube or a phone talk. I want to do more, get more and more. Vairagyam is not hate or indifference, but it is dispassion, no craving. As we get attached and want more and more of it, it gives sorrow when we run away from it. Thus, likes and dislikes are formed. Our mind, our intellect are constantly engaged in these sense pleasures to the extent that they are not available for a higher purpose, spiritual life, spiritual path. So people can just, at this time, they can be watching TV or going for something, doing something else. Rather, they attend this. That shows that commitment. That is important. Scriptures do not prohibit any pleasure, but in moderation, without craving. By evaluating what we need and what is not needed, we choose, not avoiding the pleasures of the world, and at the same time, not overindulging. Thus, it is like focused lights in the darkness. Teacher's words touches the core. Vairagya is the result of viveka, discerning power. What is right, what is good, correct? What is the correct news, what is the fake news? We have to be able to discern, otherwise we will go with either one. Vairagya darkens everything, illumines the path of enlightenment. Then number 9 is anahankarha, absence of doership, ego, and intense attachment to this body. The five senses draw us, a jiva, to the outer world. These are just tools, instruments. They are not you. You are the observer. Everything functions according to the law of nature. When we live, when we think like that, the ego, I am the doer, reduces. So think about this. You can learn from this nature. The fish is caught because it is drawn to the bait. That is a taste. I like that taste. I want to eat it. And then it's caught. A moth is attracted to light and dies in flame. That is the eyes, sight. A deer is drawn to sound. It panics and stops, paralyzes and caught in by the hunter. That is the sound, ears. Because I'm in transportation, my experience, I used to tell my truck drivers, do not honk when you see the deers coming in your way, especially they will go from Southern California to Northern California. If the deer comes, do not honk, flash the light, then they will go. If you honk, they will panic and stop and you will hit them. So that is another thing. Elephant is drawn to a female for touch. Hunter digs a hole, covers with leaves, and leaves the female on the other side. The elephant will come and fall into the pit, and he will catch both. That is the touch skin. Bees are drawn to the sweet scent of honey and get caught inside a flower. Like ants and maple syrup, we all have seen that. Humans, think about it, humans. Yes, have only one sense. Humans have five senses. This reminds us to be very careful and cautious. When we see ourselves as a tool of Ishvara, the absence of doership happens. This is a preliminary stage to reduce ego. The thought that I am the boss is ego. I am a contributor reduces ego. But even in Bible it says, all religions teach the same. Bible says that I am the custodian of the kingdom of God. Right? We are all co-travelers, co-passengers with abundance to enjoy. But we own nothing. Number 12, anudarshana. That is recalling, reflecting. Take the time fear, economic problems, loss of lives. All humans, friends, strangers, and family members go through this. There is no free lunch. These are not to scare anybody, but unless we see the fact, life as is, we are caught in this illusion of safety, security, happiness, possession of properties, bank balance, all this because we want security. You are already full. All these are impermanent. In Bhajagovindam by Shankara, it says Harasti Nimeshat Kalam Sarvam. That means in a split second, everything can change. It may sound pessimistic, but that's a fact because I recently lost a friend in Hyderabad. He's one of the Toastmasters for 48, 50 years old or maybe less. He has two children, 14 and 9. He had just a chest heart pain, sudden cardiac arrest, and he passed away in just a few minutes. These things happen. In a split second, the entire life can change. So don't be, arrogant, ego. Nothing is ours. We come naked, we go naked. You want to be very careful. So a lifespan of 80, 90, 100 years is like a bubble or a foam in water. Has its limitation. So the lifespan is flimsy, fragile, and painful. In chapter 11, Krishna mentioned that I am time, I am the Lord of death. These are not to create fear, but to plan and move forward towards enlightenment. Conscious living. Be always honest to yourself. No one is always young and handsome. Body is depreciable, will disintegrate and decompose. Vyadi is sickness, inevitable, whichever sense we use extensively, that will get affected first. So focus on the permanent. Number 13 and 14, they go together. Asakti. Asakti is non-attachment, independent of objects and people for feel-good factor. Intense attachment to people, relatives, objects. Nothing is sustainable, nothing is permanent. We have seen that sometimes we hold on to furniture, jewelry, utensils. My grandparents used, my grandmother had it. But I have my mother's wedding saree with me. So we all do that, but not easy to discard, but be aware. Be kind, loving, caring, and enjoy every relation as and when you have it. Make a positive memory to every being that crosses your path. That is number 14th is Anabhishwangaha, Putradara Grihoti. That is absence of extreme identification, extreme dependency. A dog, a pet is miserable. Help, do whatever needs to be done. But if you are also miserable, you cannot do anything. You go to a surgeon for a surgery and you are in pain. Surgery, if the surgeon also feels the same thing, surgeon cannot do anything. Right? So this has come in chapter 12 also, kindness, compassion. So when you go, Putradara here he's mentioning it in verse 9, extreme identification is not love. Otherwise, there will be one more misery person. Parents should understand and extend support to children and vice versa. We may have objections to this, but if we understand this in the right sense, we can be fit for the enlightenment. Not that we should not love our children, partners, or parents, but identification is a sign of ignorance. That is, identification is thinking of another person as I. Identification with this body itself is a problem, and identification with something else outside this body is also deep in ignorance. That is why we hear people saying, I am dead when I lose my job, my car, my parents. So there is no my. 15 is ishta anishta upapattishu. That is balanced mindset. Because of past actions, prarabdha karma, we all face favorable and undesired life situations. To be balanced, neither elated nor dejected is emphasized here. Number 16 is Avya Vicharani Bhaktihi. That is Ananya Bhaktihi. We have already seen this before. That is undivided attention. Generally, in prayers, we use God as a tool to get worldly pleasures or relief from pain and sufferings. I pray to you, can you give me better health? Can you give me a long life? Can you get me a job? We ask for something. We use God as a tool. But once we get what we ask for, we tend to forget God. That is a conditional devotion. Therefore, love that one in you, ever present and in all beings. That one is uncomparable, and one alone is, which is in you, is the single pointed focus, undivided attention. Number 17, Vivikta Desa Saivitam, isolation, solitary place to quieten the mind. Because my thoughts, my ideas, my emotions always get mixed with others when I'm in a crowd. Some feel lonely even in a crowd. Some are contented even when they are alone. When you are in a crowd, you are constantly bombarded with worldly information. You are distracted from thinking, a state of quietude, calmness. So isolated mindset is important value, quality, because when old age hits, it would happen, and you may not even get enough mental strength at that time. Fear and all the what ifs come at that time. So it is important to develop this. Even on a day-to-day basis, sit quietly in your room for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Escape from this rat race, constant running, day in and day out. So take your time with your own higher self. That higher self is everywhere. I am the self in all beings. Aurobindo Ghosh was an Indian philosopher, a poet. He was from 1872 to 1950. Aurobindo Ghosh, very, very popular Indian poet. He wrote the national anthem for India, Indian nationalist. He was in solitude in a room for 40 years. This aloneness gave him great joy. We cannot do all those, but at least these are references for us. So number 18 is Aradirjana Samsati, non-rejoicing in the company of others. That means what does it mean? Not always interested in being in a crowd. I need to go here, I need to go to the party, I need to meet people, always going out. I do not need another one to entertain me, should be the attitude. I am happy within, wherever I am. People with like-minded is okay. Otherwise, it is like a virus, takes longer to clean it because you're always looking outside. So try to be with Antaryami, within you. Sit quietly, think about your life, think about your goal, think about Atman. I am the witness. The number 19 is Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. That is visualization. The knowledge of that. The result of that knowledge is liberation, dukkha nivarana. Constantly think about that moksha. As we do, just like we do auto suggestions. Motivational speakers say that. So know, understand, and practice these 19 sadhanas and be clear about the goal of life to get inspired, pursue those practices. Sadhana is a spiritual practices, exercise to be followed by the seeker. People generally are not drawn to spiritual practices, especially self-inquiry, Vedanta, because the goal is not very clear, unlike worldly goals. What is moksha, what is liberation is not clear. I know if I study this, I can be a doctor, I can be an engineer, I can be an IT, I can be a scientist. You have all when you set, you know where you reach. But Moksha is freedom, is not clear, not visible, not tangible. If the goal is not clear, then there won't be any interest. What is in it for me? Or no inclination to follow this path. That in that case, that person is always in samsara, pain, suffering, struggles, and sorrow. In the whirlpool of birth and death, like a hamster in a cage. That is why very few come to this path, rarer still to achieve the goal. See, oftentimes I have seen there will be 25 registrations, the emotional registrations, I call them. When you say, I'm going to start this class, 25, 30 people will register. Finally, the ending will be 5 or 6. Continuation is to end, to go till the end is difficult. So even to grasp and appreciate this knowledge takes time because this knowledge is not common, unlike worldly information. Once we enter, we are drawn to it. We get addicted in a positive way. We are observed, we are obsessed to want to listen more and more. One lady yesterday told me, oh, we have only one class in a month. I want to have more. So I said, that means that is the feeling comes, I want to hear more. So when one appreciates it, one gets inspired to listen to it again and again and eventually practice it. Or else I listen to Gita so that my blood pressure will go down, my sugar will go down. That could happen too because you are not stressed, but as it calms down your mind. But that is not the objective. That is worldly need. So the sastram or the scripture helps humans to self-reflect on how my life is changing for the better, how my worldview is changing before scriptures and after scriptures. Initially, the disciple thinks both the teacher and I are known, are human, both are same. What is the difference? Then one experiences the benefits of knowledge in others. Guru is oneself, then all the negative thoughts and emotions wither away. Anger, jealousy, envy, compassion, comparison, competition, fear, everything goes down. Because this is my personal experience. In 1998, I went to Jneyam mission. The Swamiji is standing, everybody is prostrating and getting the prasad, the flower or water. I went in front of him. I'm just trying to get into the spiritual path. I did not prostrate. I just took my prasadam and walked away. Looking back after 5 years, why did I do that? Because I was not ready at that time. These things can happen. Initially, we think we both are humans. What is the difference? Because we don't see the divinity in the other person. It is important to see the lifestyle of teacher, Kshetrajyan, Brahmanistan, we have seen. This is Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Number 20 is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatva, that is self-knowledge. This must be acquired through scriptures, through listening, contemplating, and meditation. And stay grounded on that knowledge. Abide on it. There are plenty of knowledge or information. Rishis divided knowledge into two. Knowledge of the world, which is called Apara Vidya, and knowledge of the self, which is Para Vidya. Para means supreme. Knowledge about the world is never ending. The periphery keeps expanding. So many new discoveries happening on a daily, weekly basis. Knowledge about the self is the one who is experiencing, is about the one who is experiencing it. Self is one, ever present, ultimate. That is the ultimate goal. So practice 19 sadhanas and then get this knowledge. Because these 19 qualities takes one towards self-knowledge, these are referred to as knowledge. All others are illusion, ignorance. So the summary is, Kshetram is body, Kshetrajyan is knower of the body, Jnanam is 20 values, that is knowledge. Where we are in the spiritual ladder is based on where we are with these 20 qualities. Verse number 12, Jneyam is a new next word. Out of the 6 words, Kshetram, Kshetrajyan, we have covered. Jnanam is 20 values. Jneyam. Jneyam is that which should be known. In this world, there are several things to be known, but that self-knowledge, Atman, Brahman knowledge, Brahman, is also referred as Jneyam, that which should be known. All secular knowledge, however much one go deeper, one is always in the whirlpool of samsara. Without ego before that knowledge, and with ego before that knowledge, and with that ego afterwards. Whatever you do, you may be a great scientist doing so much of research and outstanding. You have published 500 articles, whatever publications, you are recognized, you are given plenty of awards, recognitions, everything. But still, I did it in my lifetime. That ego is there before and after also. Whereas in the self-knowledge alone can give you complete contentment and dissolve that ego in its entirety. Krishna starts in verse 12. I am going to share this subtle knowledge with you now. Who is Jiva, individual? One who is breathing. That Jiva is split into two, Atma and Anatma, inner presence and inert. Who is Nirguna Brahman, the cause of universe? That which is in all beings, Ishvara, the creator and the substratum of the entire universe, imperishable, ever present, that which cannot be described as Sat, present. It cannot be that cannot be explained or described as Sat means ever present. Present or Asat, absent. See, when you see a pot, you say pot is, right? When the pot breaks, now you become that pot becomes pot is not. The isness of the pot is no longer there. Therefore, any is will one day become is not, will not. That is a temporary existence. In our experience, we often use it is or it is not. Similarly, we should not refer Brahman as is, because when it could also mean that one day it could be is not. It was, that ever is referred as isness. That is absolute truth. Paramarthika Satyam. That is that which illumines the is not, that is referred as Jneyam, to be known. It is beyond the is and is not. The absolute truth means it is at all times. In chapter 3, Krishna had mentioned that the body changes from baby to a child to an adult and senior. But the seer of this change is constant. All experiences keeps on changing. Change alone is constant. The absolute reality never changes. It has no beginning, no end. Anything that is manufactured as a date of manufacturing and date of expiry. Every beginning has an end. Verse 13, he says, when we know that Brahman, self-knowledge is the only way, that is halfway. Now we have reached half the way once when you know that. But along with that, we need to know the universe is an appearance. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. It's an appearance. Scriptures refer to this as Adhyarupa Apavada, that is veiling and projecting, hiding and projecting. Rope by snake. Brahman alone is, and everything is an appearance. It is an expression, not a creation. Creation means there is a second one. Something is created, right? So this creation, there is also Taittiriya Upanishad has creation. It talks about from Brahman came space, air, fire, water, one each one. But that is for the beginners. Any creation has an end. When one sees a snake and another sees a rope, saying that it is a rope will not help it, because he sees the snake. The mind already has a thought of the snake. That is a preconceived notion. Sometimes I have seen students come to these sessions with preconceived notions, and they expect teacher to agree to that. No, we have to go with the scriptures. The mind already has a thought. Now to unlearn something and relearn is very difficult, very challenging. When we come from, say, for example, when we come from India, we are driving the car, we have been driving the car for 20 years, and then suddenly we come here, driving on the keep to the right is very difficult. Unlearning something that you already learned takes time. So the guru first needs to acknowledge the preconceived notion and then negate it, only to replace it with the truth. So he says, what you see is fine. I understand you see a snake. But that snake is rope. And at this point, the snake merges with the rope, resulting in one truth. On the contrary, if the guru says this is not a snake, it is a rope, and the disciple could understand that the snake exists because I see it, and the rope exists because you see it. So it's like, in mathematics, if you say 3 plus 2 equal to 6 minus 1, initially, fourth grader, third grader would get confused. What is this? This is something scary, right? But once the steps are done, 3 plus 2 equals 6 minus 1, both are same. So it is how we present it. That guru has not seen the snake, but acknowledged the other person's perspective, viewpoint, before negating it. This is how exactly we have understood that Brahman is there. The world is there. Duality exists. That is a starting. God and world. Scriptures places the universe on Brahman, like the snake on the rope superimposed, veiling it. What is in the seeker's mind alone? This world is individual seeker's mind alone. That is why each one has got different opinions, different perspective. Then he negates that is seeker. So Guru doesn't see the world, but acknowledges it and negates it. That is what Adhyarupamapavada, superimposed and removal. The knowledge that Brahman is the truth merges with the thought that world is mithya. Therefore, the disciple, the seeker, understands that Brahman alone is. That Brahman has hands, legs, eyes, everywhere. Sarvatra Panipadam. All bodies are superimposed on that Sarvato Akshishiro Mukam. That Brahman has faces, head, mouth, everywhere. This comes in Purusha Suktam. We will see that in a slide. So no movement is possible without that presence. That presence has got thousands of innumerable. When they say thousands, there is innumerable. Every being is a Brahman. So verse number 14, from the absolute perspective, Brahman alone is. Nothing else. We have not reached there yet. That is called Ajatavada. So Ramana Maharshi was in that position. So there are three thoughts or progression. Relative individual perspective. So for a jiva, from the absolute perspective, Brahman alone is. From the jiva individual perspective, who is in illusion, the world exists. Right? Verse 14 says that Brahman is expressing in all senses. That Brahman has no senses, no body, no world. Everything is expression of Brahman, manifestation of Brahman. Just like rope and snake, the world is manifested an appearance. It is an appearance of Brahman. Verse 13 said he is in all and he has all in him. Verse 14 says nothing but Brahman alone is. Nothing else is. The isness is only for the name and form, appears in mind. That's why each mind sees differently. We have even if it is the same situation, each person sees differently. We need to be able to see the Brahman in all appearances. Snake is mithya. Why? Because it exists to experience emotion. It creates fear, right? But it has no real existence. If the snake really existed, if it came out of an egg, It will not go with knowledge. One has to chase it. It is an appearance due to ignorance of the rope. Only the name and form is there, causing the fear. But it's not an object of perception. It appeared due to not knowing the rope. Anything that exists is because of that existence. Without a rope, there cannot be a snake. Without Brahman, there cannot be universe. The rope has given that isness to snake. When that isness is removed, eliminated, there is no snake, and that goes to the rope. Similarly, the isness of this universe, when removed, Brahman alone is. This is veiling and projecting. What is veiled, and the projection is the universe. Just like the rope holds the entire snake, but the rope has no connection with the snake. Similarly, Brahman is the substratum of the universe and is not attached, connected to the universe. It is nirguna, without any characteristic. By negating the existence of the universe, Krishna describes Jneyam, supreme, that which is to be known, the cosmic presence. So far, we completed Kshetram, Kshetrajyan, field and knower of the field, Jnanam, Jneyam, values, and that which needs to be known. Kshetram is the field. He refers to the gross body at the individual level, Vyashti. The entire cosmic also is a field. Kshetrajyan is a knower, one who sees both. That is a Kshetrajyan. Know that I am that, he says. Then we come to 20 values. That is Jnanam. Only these 20 values can lead a jiva to self-knowledge. If not, realization will not happen. Therefore, he calls these 20 values as knowledge here. Then Jneyam. Jneyam is realizing which one attains moksha, liberation. Now, verse 16 and 17. One appears as many. Nirguna Brahman appears as Trinity, generator, operator, dissolver. So that God, it is an acronym, that is a Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman means the attached with all the paraphernalia. Like Atman is when it is attached with body, mind, and intellect, it becomes Jiva. So otherwise, it is Nirguna Brahman and Atman are one and the same. Light in Vedanta refers to that because of which one gets knowledge. That is Jnana Agni, we call it. I know this, I see this, I understand this is Jyoti, light. At home, we use a bulb during the day. During the day, we see the sun helps us to see everything. At night, the moon helps. At home, when it is dark, we use the bulb. Right? That Brahman is the light behind all these lights. Even if everything is there and the Atman is not in this body, the body cannot see anything. Cannot see the sun, cannot see the moon, cannot see the bulb, cannot see anything. So that all these things function because of that supreme Jyoti, that light. The sun brightens everything, but it cannot reveal the darkness. Similarly, Atman, Brahman brightens the senses, mind, the knowing and not knowing. I can say, I know this, I don't know this. How do you know? That is the light. Both are known by Atman. The known knowledge and the unknown. Brahman, Atman knows both. Both are illumined by Brahman. That Brahman is beyond light and darkness. Therefore, knowledge, that is 20 values here, is Brahman. The one that needs to be known is Brahman. Even though it is all-pervasive, the locus of this Brahman is our mind. We can only realize that supreme presence from within, Antaryami, from within. You cannot see it outside. Verse 18. So far I explained the field, Kshetram, field, values, that which needs to be known. Those who knows this are self-realized. Once a seeker realizes that every moment is because of that, attains that without a doubt. So far we have covered 4 words out of 6 words: the field, the knower of the field, 20 values, and Atman Brahman. So next session we are going to do Prakriti and Purusha, which is next Sunday. Let me share the screen with you so you can see. This is chapter 13, Kshetrajyan Vibhaga Yoga, the field and its knower. These are the Mahavakyas, are the precise statements, great statements: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, 4 Veda. Initially, 10,000 years ago, there was only one Veda, all combined, and Veda Vyasa separated that into 4 because he could see the future. In Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga, people cannot conceptualize the whole thing. So he split it into 4. So Rig Veda is Aitriya Upanishad, Prajnanam Brahma. That is, Brahman is there. Yajurveda, Brihadaranya Upanishad says, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that. Samaveda, Chandogya Upanishad says, you are that. Atharva Veda, Mandukya Upanishad, I am Atma Brahma. I am that Atman Brahman. So this is all important. Tattvamasi. Now you are that. See, chapter 1 to 6, we talked about a Jiva individual. Then 7 to 12, we talked about Ishvara. And chapter 13 to 18, we are getting into one and both are same. Atma and Brahman, both are one and the same. Again, 1 to 6 is Karma Yoga, performance of duties. 7 to 12 is Bhakti Yoga, devotion. 13 to 18, wrong. Jnana Yoga, self-inquiry. Chapter 1 to 6 is individual effort. 7 to 12 is Ishvara's grace. And 13 to 18 is values, virtues that every jiva should possess. This is chapter 13, Arjuna's question. Then 13.1 to 13.6 is Krishna's response to that question: what is Kshetram, what is Kshetrajyan? 7 to 11 are the 20 values. 13 to 18 is attributes of the ultimate knowledge to be known. We are going to pause here today. So Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetrajyan, Jnanam, Yogam. So these 3 are same. Purusha, Kshetrajyan, and Jneyam, that is to be known. These 3 are same. Prakriti and Kshetram, those 2 are closer. And Jnana is somewhat different, which is values, 20 values. So nature and witness, Prakriti and Purusha, field and knower of the field, knowledge and that which must be known. These are manifested and unmanifested. All the 20 points is talked about. Manifested ones are, this is all Kshetrajya field. The space, air, fire, water, earth. Then 5 organs of perceptions, 5 organs of actions. Then manam, mind, intellect, memory, and ego. 19 plus desire, pleasure, sorrow, and the union of body and mind. Body, mind, and senses. All those things plus the strong conviction to know, realize it. This all in the mind. This is all Kshetrajya field. These are the words, 20 words that we talked about: absence of pride, amanitvam; absence of hypocrisy, not hurting other beings in thought, word, and deed; absence of disturbance in the mind, straightforwardness, honesty; service to Guru, humility; cleanliness predominantly in thought, word, and deed with environment; steadiness of our path and goal; self-discipline, self-control; absence of attachment of the senses; anahankaraha is absence of doership; recall and reflect; non-attachment; absence of extreme dependency; equanimous, balanced in all situations. Then ananya bhakti is single-pointed bhakti without a need for something else. Then solitude, isolation, not always interested in crowd; visualization, moksha. Then Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, which is listening, contemplating, and practice to stay grounded in that knowledge, is number 20. So here are the 5 things that are drawn by single sense. This is the fish. It gets caught because of the taste. The fly, moth dies in the flame. The elephant because of the touch. Deer because of the ears. And the smell, the bees, they get into flower for the smell of the nectar, and then they die. The fruit. There was a break in between. I don't know why suddenly. Can you all see? Can you all see the? Okay. A jiva comes from nowhere. Now here, there's only one space between NO and W. See, no, we come from nowhere, go nowhere. And now here. Now, for us to make the choice, where do I want to go? The is, so we don't call Brahman as Brahman is. Is can become was, just like anything else. So it is, you can never call Brahman as Sat or Asat, is or is not. So every is will become was. In Vyavaharika Satyam, that is transactional reality. Whereas Paramarthika Satyam, which is absolute reality, is ever present. You cannot always be like this, one day will be like this. This is a symbolic representation. So not by listening to preachers, not by study of books, not by meritorious deeds, not by any other means, one can attain the supreme state, which is attainable only through association with sages and the clear quest of the self.
We are not able to see the slides.
Oh, you're not able to see the slide? Okay, let me.
Yeah, your video froze for a little bit, and then the slides went away.
Okay, let me share this again. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back and. Did you see this? Did you all see this, right?
Yeah, yes, this is where that was the last slide I saw.
Okay.
Okay,
this one
perfect.
also. This one. So a jiva comes from nowhere, goes nowhere. Now here. Just you add the W space, put a space here. That's it. Know where you want to go. That is our choice. We are the product of our choices. Every is can become a was in a transactional reality. So you cannot say Brahman is. Because if I say Brahman is, then one day Brahman was. It could happen. So Brahman is ever present. That is called Paramarthika Satya. This is Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional reality. From the absolute point, from the absolute reality, Brahman always, the isness. It is not is or was, it is the isness. Anything that is, anything that exists is existence. So this is, you cannot never be like this. One day, body will change. So not by listening to preachers, not by study of books, not by meritorious deeds, nor by any other means one can attain the supreme state, which is attainable only through association with the sages and clear quest of the self. So this comes in Bhajagovindam, verse number 9. We all have heard it. Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan muktaha. The meaning is from satsanga, company of good people, comes non-attachment. From detachment comes freedom of delusion, which leads to mental calmness, self-settledness, that is mental calmness. From mental calmness comes jivan mukti. You become a realized one. Then this is from Purusha Suktam, verse number 1. He talks about thousands. Om Sahasra Shirshas Purushaha, that means he has got thousands of heads, thousands of hands, thousands of legs, everything. Purusha has thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of feet. 1,000 here means innumerable, not counting, indicating the omnipresence of the universe. He surrounds the world from all sides. He pervades every part of creation and beyond the 10 directions represented by 10 fingers. So Nirguna Brahman, all pervasive in every appearance. He is in all. When we say he, it is not gender. Some may ask, how about she? So Brahman has no gender. These are the three different levels of spirituality. Parinamavada. Parinamavada is change of state, modification, like a milk turns into yogurt. That is, Parinamavada maintains that the cause undergoes real changes in producing the effect. You cannot go back. Vivartavada means the doctrine of apparent illusory transformation. That is, that the changes and transformation referred to above are not real, but mere appearances, like the snake. Snake appears on a rope. Brahman appears as the world without undergoing any change. So there is, in principle, nothing other than Brahman for Brahman to become. That is Vivartavada. We are all in this state right now. But Ajatavada is supreme, like Ramana Maharishi and other sages. Ajatavada is absolute, is not subject to birth, change, and death. The absolute is Ajaha. Ajaha means unborn. The empirical world of appearances is considered unreal and not absolutely existent, not present at all. The world is not there. I don't see the world. I alone is. That is the absolute, that is the end of realization. But we are not here yet. We are working on it. So absolute reality alone is in verse 14. Manifestation, appearance, not creation. Creation means anything that you create, it's a second one. So then it is not non-dual. So absolute alone is, it appears as this, all these appears, they are all appearances. From the Ajatavada perspective, none of this exists. None of this exists. What exists is only this. But we are not able to see that. We see differences. We see mountains, rivers, world, warm, sharp, people, animals. We see differences because we are still in ignorance. We see the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. There are Saguna Brahman. Because if you put Brahman in one form, how about anything outside the form? Is there a Brahman outside? It becomes in form. So this is Saguna Brahman. Just like we call Vijaya, Dan, and Gita, and Vidya, we are all isolated in individual body, but we are all one, Atman. So that's what it is. So this verse 14 says, his hands, feet, eyes, heads, and all faces are everywhere. His eyes are everywhere, for he pervades everything in this universe. One appears as many. See, during the day, the sun helps us to see everything. At night, the moon helps, or in the bulb in the darkness at home. And all these things, they only show, but the mind sees everything. Mind interprets. Mind says this is a building, that is a car. These do not say anything like that. They can only show the product. The mind interprets it. And this Brahman, Atman, illumines this mind. If this Brahman, Atman is not there, mind cannot interpret. If the mind is not there, none of this is visible. So that a person who is in coma or who is dead, the body is dead, Atman is ever present, but they cannot see any of this. So this is Atman. This is Kshetrajyan, that is in you, in all of us. This is a galaxy, physical body, emotions of the mind, our 5 senses. All these things are Kshetram. Kshetram means field of experience. That's the last one. This is next, part 2. So, hope it's all clear. Let me conclude. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.